Good evening all. Before we commence this evening's proceedings, we would like to acknowledge the Bunurong and Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations and all traditional owners of the land that is Australia. We pay respect to elders past and present, and we acknowledge their stories, traditions and living cultures. We would also like to acknowledge the Indigenous people of Israel, the Jewish people. My name is Lexi Cobble, Vice President of Zionism Victoria. On behalf of Zionism Victoria, Habayit, the ZFA, Project A, United with Israel, J United, the RCV and the JCCV are welcome here tonight. For the past 331 days, the Jewish world has been grieving a profound loss of life that occurred on October 7 and since, and have agonised over the hostages, praying for their safe return. Yesterday, as many of us were surrounded by our families celebrating Father's Day, we learned of the devastating news of the murder of 6 of these hostages. In Jewish culture, every life is considered an entire universe. Yesterday, we lost 6 such universes. Each of these individuals was a cherished member of their families and communities, embodying dreams and hopes. Tonight we come together as a united community. We gather not only to mourn and to remember these 6 individuals, but also all hostages, civilians and soldiers who have lost their lives since October 7, 2023. We honour those who have been tragically taken from us, those whose lives were violently and unjustly ended. In this overwhelming sadness, let us also find strength in our unity. Our presence here tonight is a powerful testament to our shared humanity. Let us hold the memories of those who are departed close. Honour their lives by ensuring that their stories are remembered, and reaffirm our commitment to justice and to peace. To begin this evening, please stand for the Australian National Anthem, a symbol of our diaspora community's union, unity and collective resolve.
Australians, oh let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea, our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page let every saint advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair. You can all please be seated. Tell me ושי, הרבה לו שלמה יום, מקסים ואלקנה, אביתר דניאל ומאון, צחי ונעמה. It could have been me, it could have been me, and it could have been you. It could have been me, it could have been me, and it could have been you. Joshua Hirsch, Omer Carmel, סגל בועז דרתם, עמירם אורי, עדן עמית יוסף, בר אברהם, ניקו אריאל בנואף, מוחמד, שלומי יאיר ומתן, אריאל ירדן, שירי וכפיר, כולם מחכים לכם כאן. אביעד, סשה, דוד יצחק, סמר טל סורסה, אלכס יוגב, נוברטו, פרחן זיו, וסון דעה, דולר יוסי עודד, קיר, עופר דרור ואיתן, אלי אלעד, חמזה נדב, נועם ואביתן. It could have been me, it could have been me, and it could have been you. It could have been me, it could have been me, and it could have been you. It could have been me, could have been me, and it could have been you. Bring them home now. Bring them home now.
Good evening. I'd like to start by welcoming you all here tonight and thanking you for coming out to this event to commemorate the lives of the murdered hostages who were recovered over the weekend. I'd like to start by acknowledging some leaders of Parliament here with us today. Steve Dimopoulos, representing the Premier, the Minister for Tourism, Major Events and Sport and Environment, and David Southwick, the leader of the Deputy Leader of the Liberal Party here in Victoria, and other distinguished guests, community leaders. Welcome. If the 331 days that have passed since October 7 aren't enough to emphasise the awful reality of the battle in which Israel finds itself, let's consider the 331 nights that have also passed. 331 nights where the families of hostages being cruelly held in Gaza have not slept. 331 nights where the families of more than 1,200 victims of the attacks on that fateful day have lain awake, grieving for their loved ones as they contend with the pain of their loss. And 330 nights for the hostages themselves, dwelling in barbaric conditions, subject to their captors' cruelty. 331 nights wondering whether the next day would see their release or their demise. And tragically, for Carmel Gat, Eden Yerushalmi, Hirsch Goldberg Pauline, Alexander Lobanov, Almog Sarusi, and Ori Danino, Zichronam Livracha, them and their families, there are no further nights, no further days, no further hope to be reunited with their loved ones. Murdered in cold blood by Hamas. If we believe the rhetoric of others who claim to be for human rights and freedom, who shamelessly contend that murder, rape, and wholesale slaughter are legitimate acts of resistance, then we might be understandably confused. But we know very well who is Israel's enemy and who is the enemy of the Jewish people. Led by Iran, their proxies, Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, they have amply demonstrated how much they care for human rights. Murdering captives in cold blood is surely a loathsome, immoral war crime, no matter what one's perspective on the current conflict is. And again, the human rights activists, the students on our university campuses, and those from other communities respond to the latest atrocity with silence. A silence that exposes their hypocrisy and confirms their support for anti-Semitic terrorism and its unspeakably evil outcomes. When addressing the Democratic National Convention in Chicago last month, the parents of Hirsch Goldberg, Poland, Zichrono Livracha, said, "There is a surplus of agony on all sides of the tragic conflict in the Middle East. In a competition of pain, there are no winners. In our Jewish tradition we say, Kol Adam Olam Umlo'o, every person is an entire universe. We must save all these universes. In an inflamed Middle East, we know the one thing that can most immediately release pressure and bring calm to the entire region, a deal that brings this diverse group of 109, now 103, hostages home and ends the suffering of the innocent civilians in Gaza. The time is now." End quote. Our Jewish lives in Australia, in Melbourne, have irreversibly changed since October 7. Our grief is raw, our sorrow overflows, and our determination to maintain our resilience and decorum in the wake of frightful and growing anti-Semitism remains firm. Also firm is our commitment to stand by and with Israel during this time, and indeed at all times. We stand with the people, we stand with the state, and we stand with the government as they collectively battle Hamas in order to remove them from having any further influence in the region. And while we stand with the government, we also hear the voices of the hundreds of thousands of Israelis who gathered over the weekend to demand an immediate deal to release the remaining hostages, inflamed by the fact that the hostages were murdered only in the last few days, an eventuality that may not have occurred had a deal been finalised. I call on the government of Israel to redouble its efforts and do whatever it takes to bring the hostages home today. This can and must be the chief priority for the government. Kol Israel Ahavim Ze Lazeh. All of Israel is responsible for one another. We too, here in Melbourne, are responsible for the hostages. We too are responsible for making our voices heard. We have also suffered 331 sleepless nights and anxious days as we stay glued to our devices, following the latest news, communicating with friends and family here in Israel and elsewhere. We also hope that tonight is the last night we experience this nightmare. I joined with the editorial of this morning's Jerusalem Post that read, "We are sorry we could not do more to get you out. We are sorry that the words we've written for 10 months have failed to spur our politicians into action. We are sorry you will never again get to spend time with your families." These were not just 6 individuals, the Post goes on to say. They were part of our collective family, and their loss diminishes us all. We must carry the weight of this failure with us, allowing it to guide our actions in the future, ensuring that no family ever has to endure this kind of pain again. We owe it to them to remember their names, to honour their lives, and to learn from the silence and that fills the space they once occupied. To their families, the editorial concludes, no words can heal the wounds left by this tragedy, but please know that their lives will not be forgotten. We will carry their memory forward, a solemn reminder of the price we pay when we fail to protect our own. We look forward to brighter days ahead. We look forward to the next story about the hostages, telling how they all returned home to their loved ones, to their people, to their state, to the only Jewish homeland in the world. This is the way we honour the lives of the 30 or so hostages who we know have perished at the hands of Hamas. This is how we honour our commitment to the State of Israel and to the Jewish world. And to the families of the hostages still in captivity, we join with them in fervent hope that they will be home for Shabbat this week. And for the families of the hostages we've lost, we mourn with you and we grieve with you. For even in death, we are all responsible for one another. Yehi Zichar Baruch.
Friends, if you are able to stand, I ask you to do so now. We begin by reciting the Carmel Gat memorial prayer. We have in mind, of course, all those brave, courageous and holy soldiers, those who were murdered on October 7th, and of course all the hostages who sadly were murdered in captivity. We pray for their souls. And of course we pray for comfort for their families and for all of Israel. את נשמות כל קדושים שמסרו נפשם על קדושת השם. ברור שאנחנו מתפללים ביחס כל נשמתם, לכן בעל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפות אלוהים, וישרור יתרחם את נשמותיהם. אדוני הוא נחלתם, וינוחו בשלום משכבם, ונאמר אמן. As this is a pain and loss that we all feel, we're going to recite Kaddish at this moment, and of course, please feel free to join with me as we recite Kaddish for all the dear souls that I've mentioned. Yiskadal v'yiskadash shnei rabah, v'yamad yivrach v'yutei yamlik machotei, v'chayechod v'yomechod v'chayei v'chol v'es Yisrael, agalav v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shnei rabah v'vorach v'olam v'olam v'yah, v'yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'al v'yitronam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitalel, v'yithalal, shnei kedusha b'riku. Le'elam mikol b'rchata v'shirata, tush v'chata v'nechemata, d'amiran v'omam v'yimru amen. Yehei shlam ha'rabba min shmaya, v'chayim oleinu v'hakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom imromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, v'hakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Thank you, everybody. Please be seated.
Como Deus gosta foi. קראתי בקליפורניה של ארצות הברית.
Hirsch, we heard your voice today for the first time in 201 days. We love you. Stay strong. Survive.
נחטפתי ב7 לאוקטובר במסיבה בחניון רעים. יצאתי לבלות עם החברים שלי. ובמקום מצאתי את עצמי נלחם על חיי עם פציעות קשות בכל הגוף. אני יודע שאתם עושים הכל כדי שאני אחזור הביתה כמה שיותר מהר.
To all of the leaders of the parties who have been negotiating today, be brave, lean in, seize this moment, and get a deal done to reunite all of us, our loved ones, and end the suffering in this region.
שלום. הירש גולדברג, פולין, בנם של ג'ון פולין ורייצ'ל גולדברג. נולד בקליפורניה. לפני שעלה לישראל עם משפחתו ב-2008, בגיל 7, להירש נולד גם שתי אחיות צעירות יותר. הירש שירת בצבא ההגנה לישראל, וסיים את שירותו החובה באפריל ב-2023. ולפי הדיווחים, הוא תכנן טיול עולמי בן שנתיים, והיה אמור להתחיל במהלך השבוע האחרון של דצמבר 2023. הירש עבד בתפקיד מדריך חברתי במשך חודש בקבוצת נוער אמריקאי בבית ספר גן אקדמאי, בתוכנית של רמה ישראל ברוח תגלית. ושם הכרנו, שם נפגשנו. קוראים לי הילה, אני בת 27, אני ישראלית. הדרכנו ביחד במשך חודש עם הקבוצה וטיילנו בכל ארץ ישראל. לראשונה שנפגשנו, הירש הציג את עצמו כירושלמי. ואני חושבת שהדרך הכי טובה לתאר את האופי שלו זה התכונות של הרוגע והנועם שהיו בולטות אצלו, והיה לו שילוב טוב של ציונות ואחריות. הוא תמיד הזכיר לי את הדמות של סמוטקין מהסדרת ילדים של המומים. הוא היה צ'יל, הוא היה רגוע. הוא תמיד פעל ועשה וקפץ ראשון למים עם כל החניכים שאהבו אותו מאוד. הוא היה תמיד במצב רוח רגוע. והיה לנו שיחות קטנות על המשפחה שלו, הוא הראה לי תמונות של האחיות שלו וההורים, והיה כל כך גאה בהם. דיברנו על העתיד שלו והוא ציין באופן חד משמעי שהוא רוצה להיות נווד בעולם, הוא רוצה לטייל. היה לו תכנון ללכת לפסטיבל ואחר כך לטייל בהודו, לנווט וללמוד את עצמו, שזה משהו שרוב הישראלים עושים. הירש היה בפסטיבל רעים כאשר חמאס תקפו בבוקר השביעי באוקטובר. בסביבות השעה 8 בבוקר הוא שלח למשפחתו הודעת טקסט, אני אוהב אותך. 10 דקות לאחר מכן הוא הוסיף, אני מצטער. במהלך הפיגוע מצאו הירש, חברו הטוב ענר שפירא ואחרים מקלט במקלט שדה. חמושים של חמאס השליחו שוב ושוב רימונים למקלט. שפירא הצליח לזרוק בחזרה 7 רימונים לפני שנהרג. במהלך התקיפה במקלט, זרועו של הירש נעקרה מהמרפק ומטה. במהלך המלחמה התפרסם סרטון של הירש גולדברג, פולין, שהצהיר שהוא הוחזק בשבי למשך כמעט 200 ימים. ב-31 באוגוסט ב-2024 אישרה משפחתו שגופתו התגלתה על ידי צה"ל. גופתו של הירש הייתה אחת מ6 גופות שנמצאו במנהרה של חמאס ברפיח, עזה. על פי הערכות, כל 6 הוצאו להורג על ידי חטופי חמאס בטווח קרוב. הירש, אנחנו אוהבים אותך ואנחנו זוכרים אותך. יהי זכרו ברוך.
אני בטוחה להיות פה בעוד בדרום, אני חושבת שעזרו לי, אני לבד ואני בתיקים, תפקו לי להיות בכל העודים. שלחתי לך, אוקיי, שלחתי לך הודעת. שלחתי לך הודעת SMS עם קישור, תיכנסי להודעת SMS. אוקיי, לא שלחתי. שלחתי לך הודעת SMS, לא בוואטסאפ. SMS לא שלחתי, אין לי פה פליטות. יודעת להגיד לי איפה את נמצאת באיזה עיר? בדרום. לי, אנחנו בשיח מאוד נכון. קולי בסדר, תנסי לא לדבר, את שומעת אותי? אני לא יודעת. אני שלחתי ניידת למקום. שלחתי איך קוראים לך? דידי, איך קוראים לך? עדן? בסדר?
Full name, Eden Yerushalmi. Sex, female. Hair color, brown. Eye color, also brown. Height, 1 meter 65 centimeters. Age, 24 years old. Built, slim. Identifying details. Eden had an earring on the side of her nose and a tattoo on her back that was drawn with a very thin line in form of a woman and a man. Eden Yerushalmi from Tel Aviv was the daughter of Shilit and Maor, and the sister of Mai and Shani. Eden was a girl with a happy life. She was surrounded by friends and had many different hobbies. She loved going to the beach and playing matkot during summer. She also loved parties and was studying to be a Pilates instructor. Eden was working as a bartender at the Nova Festival. Her last phone call was with the emergency operator. It was posted on social media and went viral. Her sister Shani was also on the phone with her until her very last moments before being taken hostage. Her sister said that during this conversation, Eden was so brave and so strong. She said, Eden managed to change her hiding place and share her location with us. Despite Eden's persistent attempt to keep calm and fight until the very last moment, the security forces did not reach her, and contact with her was lost. Eden's last words to her sister were, that's it, you're taking me. Please make sure you find me. She also told her sister, I love you. Tell mom I love her. Yesterday, crowds accompanied Eden on her last journey. Her mother, Shirit, cried out, my dear Eden, you survived 11 months in the captivity of Hamas. In the evening, when the rumors had reached us, so many people contacted us saying how much they wanted to get to know you, but not like this. Definitely not like this. I will miss our meetings on the balcony. You are not only my daughter, you are my best friend. I waited 330 days for you to come back home. I was ready and willing to wait another 330 days for you to come back alive. Yesterday was my birthday, and I wished I would meet you and you would come back to celebrate with me, but not like this. This is not the way. May Eden's memory forever be a blessing. Eden Yerushalmi, Hashem Yikom Dama.
He was working at the festival. It was already in the morning. I was alone in our house with my son. I called him like at 7 o'clock. He told me that everything is okay and the party is over, so he needs to grab some things, a couple of things, and he'll start to go to the car and go back home. So I was quite relaxed, but I felt that something is wrong. Around 9 o'clock, it was our last call. He told me that everything is okay and he is hiding and he will call me when he can. I waited for like 2 days. I was sure that in these 2 days he will get to a safe place and call me. But the days goes by and he didn't. Only after 18 days, the army came to me and told me that he was kidnapped to Gaza and he's a hostage. I don't think it's a relief. I don't think it's a relief because everybody knows the Hamas people, the terrorists, and we know how much it's terrible to be hostage.
Thank you. I'm Lauren Butcher and I have the privilege of speaking in honour of Alex Lubanov's memory. Michal and Alex Lubanov met whilst working in a restaurant together in 2013. After 8 blissful years, they had a picture-perfect wedding by the sea in Ashdod, southern Israel. That year, they had their first child, Tom, and could not wait for the arrival of their second son, who was born in March 2024, a few months after Alex was kidnapped. Alex was working as a bartender for his business at the Desert Rave near Re'im when Hamas stormed the Nova Festival. As alarms sounded the country, he told his wife he was okay and he'd be home soon. But by 9 a.m, he phoned to say that he was running from terrorists, and this was his last call. Alex was missing for 18 days when the army came and told Michal that he had been kidnapped. I thought I would feel relief, but I didn't, Michal said. What should have been one of the most magical periods of their life descended into an unrelenting nightmare, in Michal's words. Michal couldn't explain to their young son what had happened. Tom would point at the jeep his father used to travelling on adventures and ask, Abba, Dad, Abba. Michal strongly believed that her husband's love for their children would have kept him going in the tunnels of Gaza. I know he's a strong person. He can get through this because he has many good reasons to come home, she said. I know that he's thinking about his kids, he's thinking about me, and he has to be strong, she said. Unfortunately, he did not make it home. May his memory be a blessing.
Carmel Gat. Carmel Gat, a 40 years old occupational therapist from Tel Aviv, was visiting her parents in Kibbutz Be'eri together with their brother Alon, her sister-in-law Yarden Roman Gat, and Miss Geffen on October 7th when Hamas terrorists attacked, killing her mom, Kinneret. Carmel was taken captive, as well as her brother, sister-in-law, and niece. During the Hamas onslaught, Alon and his 3-year-old daughter, Geffen, were able to escape their captors. The family learned on October 15 that her mom, Kinneret, was killed. Carmel's sister-in-law, Yarden, 36 years old, also initially escaped but was recaptured. She was held hostage in Gaza and released on November 29 as part of the Qatari broken ceasefire deal. With the release of dozens of hostages, the family received word that Carmel had been sighted by other hostages. They reported she was kept captive with some children and did yoga and meditation once a day with them to keep their sanity. Since then, every Friday at Hostage Square, free yoga lessons were held to keep Carmel's memory alive, and many people from all around the world, including here in Melbourne, have practiced yoga for Carmel. 16-year-old Noam Or was held in captivity for 50 days with his 13-year-old sister Alma, said goodbye yesterday to Carmel Gat, who stayed by his and his sister's side in captivity, saying, "Thank you for taking care of her. Thank you. I'm here today because of you. May her memory be blessed."
Master Sergeant Ori Danino, a 25-year-old off-duty, non-commissioned officer who attended the Nova raid, initially escaped the attack but went back to try and save others. Ori and a friend left the party in separate vehicles, filling his car with as many people as possible to help them escape the Hamas killing spree. At one point, Ori asked his friend for the phone number of people they had just met at the party, telling him that he was going to go back to rescue them. He saved siblings Itai Regev and Maya and Omer Shem Tov. That was the last time Ori's friend heard from him. For 30 days he was classified as missing, until he was declared as kidnapped. Ori was from an ultra-Orthodox family in Jerusalem. He was engaged to be married to Lael Abraham. She spoke about his courage, saying he wouldn't have forgiven himself if he hadn't returned to save them. "I'm so glad that this is who he was." His brother said on Sunday, "I'm sorry, I couldn't do everything." Ori served as a signals officer in the Paratroopers Brigade, 202nd Battalion. He will forever be remembered for his heroism on the day. He endured months of hell and ultimately lost his life because he saved others. May his memory be a blessing. Yehi Zichron Baruch.
Almog Sarusi, 27 years old, was at the Nova party with his girlfriend, Shahar Gindi, a psychology student at Ariel University. Almog stayed at the Nova Festival to try and help Shahar after she was injured, at which point he was kidnapped. Shahar's body was later found. Almog loved to travel around the country with his guitar. He was known as a guy full of light and love, light and life. Thousands came to the Rana cemetery to accompany the late Almog Sarusi in his final walk. His mother, Mira, eulogized, "My precious son, my beloved, how we hoped and prayed to hug you, to see your smile. We hoped to see you happy, surrounded by family and friends. But you were abandoned day by day. You were abandoned on the altar of Matut Hamas and the Philadelphia Access, Rafa. You and hundreds more. We need a deal for the release of the abductees. Return to the arms of your lover and your friends. You will forever be etched in our hearts." Amit, Almog's sister, "My Almog, you held on for 11 months. I can't believe it happened. I was so waiting for you to come back. I so wanted you to start a family, but it didn't happen. Now you are with Shahar, your love. I'm sorry. You don't deserve this. My Almog, I promise you that I will continue to be strong. I promise everyone will know who you were. The guy with the good eyes who looks first at others and then himself. You are my best friend. You are my hero. And now, you are the hero of an entire country. I will fight for all the abductees to return home." Almog leaves behind his parents Higal and Nira, and his 3 siblings, Amit, Lahav, and Shakid. May his memory be a blessing. Yehi Zechro Baruch.
Amen.
Good evening. My name is Nikki and I'm a cousin of Naamar Levy. Like all of you, I am devastated by the shocking news of the murder of the hostages Hirsch, Eden, Carmel, Almog, Alex and Ori. Naamar's mother, Ayelet, has sent me a message that I will read to you on her behalf. It is so hard to put in words the terror, anguish, pain and panic that I'm feeling now. My little girl is there. My daughter is alive and held in the hands of these monsters. 11 months now. My child. This fills my broken heart and my thoughts every second. How can I feel such utter sadness, but utter relief at the same time? I urge all of you to take action and put pressure for my daughter's release. She is alive. She is suffering. She is in danger every second. We must secure the agreement for the hostages' release. For some dear loved souls, it is too late. Bring them home alive now. Thank you.
Just want to emphasize on that last sentence. Bring them home alive now. תפילה להשבת החטופים. מי שברך אבותינו מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק, יעקב, יוסף, משה ואהרון, דוד ושלמה. הוא יברך וישמור וינצור את נעדרי צבא ההגנה לישראל ושבויה, ואת כל אחינו הנתונים בצרה ובשוביה, עבור שהקהל נתפלל בעבורם. הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם, ויוציאם מחושך וצל מוות, ומסורותיהם ינתק, וממצוקותיהם יושיעם, וישיבם מהרה לחיק משפחותיהם. יודו לאדוני חסדו ונפלאותיו לבני אדם. ויקים בהם מקרא שכתוב, ובדויי אדוני ישובון, ובאו ציון ברינה, ושמחת עולם על ראשם. ששון ושמחה וישיגו, וינוס יגון והנחה. ונאמר אמן.
If you're able to please stay rising. The power of prayer is when we say it and sing it together. Men, women and children sing the prayer for the state of Israel. Please join us. Avinu, Avinu, Sheva Shamayim, Tzur Yisrael Rohanot. Avinu, Avinu, Sheva Shamayim, Tzur Yisrael Rohanot. את מדינת ישראל, ראשית צמיחה גאולתנו, הגן עליה בעזרת חסדך, ופרוס עליה סוכת שלומך. אבינו, אבינו, שבע שמיים, צור ישראל בשמיים, צור ישראל אלוהינו. הופע בהדר גאון עוזך על כל יושבי תבל ארצך, ויאמר כל אשר נשמה באפו, אדוני אלוהי ישראל מלך, ומלכותו בכל משלה, אמן סלע.
Prayer for the IDF soldiers. מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, הוא יברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל, העומדים על משמר ארצנו וערי אלוהינו, מגבול הלבנון ועד מדבר מצרים, ומן הים הגדול עד לבוא הערבה, ביבשה, באוויר ובים. ייתן אדוני את אויבינו הקמים עלינו, נגופים לפניהם. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור ויציל את חיילינו מכל צרה וצוקה ומכל נגע ומחלה, ישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיהם. ידבר שונאינו תחתיהם ויעטרם בכתר ישועה ובעטרת ניצחון, ויוקם בהם הכתוב: כי אדוני אלוהיכם ההולך עמכם להילחם לכם עם אויביכם, להושיע אתכם, ונאמר אמן. My name is Suf Goren, and I was asked to say a few words about friends of mine who were victims and casualties. As a former Israeli and Aussie IDF soldier, I was asked that today, and I started to make a list. And then I came to the devastating, heartbreaking conclusion that that list is too long. And it grows day by day. So I'm going to keep them in my heart. I'm going to dedicate this to my friend and brother, Matan Znati, who served with me side by side from day one in the service and was murdered brutally in the Nova Festival. My only wish is that this list will stop growing day by day. May we put an end to this devastating, heartbreaking war, and may we bring them all home now, today. Alive.
As we draw this evening to a close, I want to thank each and every one of you for your presence, for your prayers, and for your solidarity. Tonight we have honoured the memories of those that we have lost. We have united our voices in prayer for Israel and for those who are still in captivity, as well as for the safety and security of the State of Israel. Our community will next gather on October 7th to mark the one-year anniversary since 1,200 innocent people were murdered and 250 taken hostage, an unimaginable and heartbreaking milestone for us all. Let us stand together in unity and in our shared strength and remember those tragically murdered almost 1 year ago. Registration details will be sent to everyone here tonight, and we implore you to join us. To conclude this evening's proceedings, we ask to be upstanding for one more community photo. This photo will be shared worldwide as part of a global initiative to call for the return of the hostages alive. If you have posters, please hold them high and say with us, "Bring them home alive."
Bring them home alive. Bring them home alive. Bring them home alive. Bring them home alive. Bring home alive. Bring them home alive. Bring them home alive.
Bring them home alive.
Bring them home alive.
Thank you, and please remain upstanding for Hatikva. Let this remind us of the hope that has carried our people through the darkest of times, a hope that remains alive today.
Yerushalayim.